What is going on, guys? It is Bellboy Brand Investments. We are coming to you live from Rhode Island and Warwick, Rhode Island this week. So, the first time going out of studio, so if we have any mishaps, it is no big deal, and we will move forward. Last week we talked about relaxing. This week we're going to go ahead and talk about do something now that's going to impact your future. This week with the S&P 500, we did take an L. It was down I was down 0.23, and the S&P was up 0.66. My month-to-date is now positive at a 2.5%, and my year-to-date is up 65%. So always happy about that. We're baselining off the S&P 500, so it's important to really always go back off of that. In further news, we are moving forward with our merch. We'll be able to get those distributed to everyone who really wants one. I'll talk more about that at the final thought. The agenda today, we do have the fin tip, we have news, new purchase, free money, we're talking about some dividends, highs and lows of the week, some crypto, pick of the week, a recap of the pick of the week from last week, mindset, and then final thought to really kick us into next week. So for our fin tip this week, there really is no rush in really investing. It's important that you're dipping your toes in the water. You don't have to completely jump in, but it is important to be putting some money away now, because it's absolutely key when it comes down to compounding interest. So you don't want to break yourself in the bank, but it is important to be putting some type of money away. Fin tip of the week, super basic this week, but I think it's important to really go over some of those basic traits that really made you long-term money in the first place. For news this week, Apple's revealing, and they leaked a little bit, that they're going to have one of their new iPhones coming out. It's going to have a new model completely connected with the 5G. Obviously, 5G, they're going to be sticking to that for the next couple of years because that's a new thing. But they're really focusing on videoing and the camera on this next piece. GM and Ford are in an unusual debate about one of their designs and one of the things for their smart controls, or Blue Cruise or Smart Cruise or something like that. But they're in a big trifle over it, and they're in a big lawsuit. I'm invested in both, so it's important to have to know what's going on. Afghanistan is kind of going into full turmoil. We have a lot of people in a rise over that because America just isn't there. There are going to be stocks that are affected by that. And then Disney's Free Guy had $28 million in the box office. They're looking to get another sequel because that was an absolute hit. And then MPC is actually going to be giving a 56-cent dividend, and that's pre-going ex-dividend, their whole stock. So for earnings this week, something to be paying attention to: Home Depot, Walmart, Target, TJ Maxx, Lowe's, and John Deere. Those are some all big ticket items that I have in my portfolio, that those earnings are going to have a big impact on what goes on in my portfolio this week. For our new purchase in diversity this week, Duolingo, Snap, Disney, those are three things that I was a little heavier on this week. And then I was dollar cost averaging my Bitcoin on Cash App. Like always, I told you guys I'm going to be moving a little bit more of my money over to Cash App just because I really like really the entire thing that they have going on there, and Jack is an absolute winner. Also throwing a little bit of money into the Roth, so it's always nice to have that. I have that on automatic too, so every time I'm getting paid, money goes directly into the Roth. For free money this week, and we always love talking about free money, Dick's Sporting Goods and Lululemon, they both got free and inserted into my portfolio this week. I didn't have to do anything but log into Twitter, so Stash is always looking out for us. The link is in the description, so if you haven't hopped on that yet, it's always nice to get free stocks, and sometimes these big names like Dick's Sporting Goods and Lululemon, it's nice to have those big names being thrown into my portfolio, because if I didn't have eyes on it before, having a little bit of that money in my portfolio at least have me noticing what's going on with the stock. For dividends this week, three big names paying me this week: Apple, John Deere, and Volkswagen. All big names. I have quite a bit of money in all three of them, and they're all giving me a little bit of dividend just for holding on to it. I was going to hold on to it anyway, so for them paying me a little bit more for doing it, I'll always take that as a win. A couple highs and a couple lows this week. Crocs was up 4.5%, and Volkswagen was up 5.6%. Caterpillar was up 5.2%. Papa John's, we said it before, is up 7%, and then Roblox, the unpredictable, is up 6%. On the flip side of that, we did have some lows this week as well, which drove my portfolio down this week. NIO was down 6.4%. Li Auto was down 6.2%. Luminar is down 5.8%. That's laser. Workhorse was down 5.2%. So EV definitely took a big hit after that big earnings call. That's not something we're too worried about. EV is a long-term play, and we're really just getting started right now. I personally wouldn't buy an electric vehicle right now because the people who put the same amount of money into buying Tesla stock rather than Tesla ended up winning big time compared to their cars actually depreciating in value. So in the future, I do think that EV is going to be everything. But right now, I think there's a couple kinks that we still have to work out. Will I invest in it? 100% yes, especially if it's being hit hard in the market. So ALF is down 20%. We've seen them really been hit hard. They're up to $18, but we bought them in early, so we're still at a positive percentage here. But seeing them on the negative charts a couple weeks in a row is definitely not a good sign. And then we had Roku down 9% as well. So now let's talk about some positive stuff, and we'll talk about crypto because these 2 weeks in a row that we're having a big W in the crypto industry. So another great week in crypto across the board. Bitcoin was up 5.5%. Ethereum Classic was up 31%, and that's my go-to. I like holding on to those full coins. ETH is up 10%. Doge is up 31% after Mark Cuban and Elon Musk had a little back and forth on Twitter, really agreeing that Dogecoin is super easy to really convert. And Mark Cuban's had a lot of success with people using it at the stadium, at the Maverick Stadium, Dallas Maverick Stadium. People using it for merchandise while they're at the stadium and using it for their tickets, their food, other things that you could buy while there. Obviously, Elon's talking about really making it usable for the industries he's working in as well. And then we also had Cardano, which was a sleeper from one of the financial advisors that we actually rub elbows with up in Poughkeepsie. Cardano and ADA was up 52%. Yes, I said 52%. We'll take that as a big win. Glad to really cash in on that coin really early, and I really see high hopes for it long term. I know long time ago we were looking at some charts and they were saying that it was going to go up to $5. If it goes there, I'll be super pumped. But as obviously with a big number like 52%, that's hard to beat. So our crypto winner of the week was up 52%. Pick of the week this week, before we go over the recap from last week, we're really looking at a big week for retail earnings across the board. Lots of stuff going on, and they had a really, really good year. So two pick of the weeks this week. I'm going to go really solid, really strong with two big names. Walmart, the ticker WMT, and the Target TGT. They both have earnings calls this week. I think it's going to be absolutely massive. They're not only competing against each other, but they're also working in a market share against Amazon. Walmart is working with their shipping and delivering to people directly now, and then Target's really starting to get that in-home feel. I know everyone like me likes Target. If you want to be fancy, that's what we've been calling it. My aunt's been saying that since I was a little kid. But I think Target really has that in-person aggression where they can come after and steal some of that market share as well. So pick of the weeks this week, Walmart, WMT, and Target TGT. To recap my pick of the weeks from last week, I doubled down on Square and it didn't end up working out for me. That's probably why I haven't done it before. Won't do it again. Down 2% this week, so that is an L. We're going to add one to the loss category. But Disney, with their big jump up in their earnings, they were up 2% last week. So we have a win, we have a loss in the recaps of the pick of the week this week. But that's nothing to really worry about. For the quote of the week, and I really, really like this one because it was along the lines of what I was looking for, but it really took a different spin on it. By Ralph Waldo Emerson, the first wealth is health. And the idea that really got me kicking on this is I was just thinking, yeah, health is wealth. And I've been saying that with my buddy Brian, and we've been bouncing that back and forth. But the first wealth is health. So I think it's important that we have to get our minds straight, we have to get our bodies straight, we have to get our whole system working correctly in order to really be able to get us to move forward in the right direction. So our quote of the week this week, the first wealth is health. And that's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. For the mindset of the week, I'm really focusing, still really in that relaxed mode because I'm kind of on a mini vacation, if you want to call it that. But I'm working on me. I'm going to make sure I'm hydrating extra. And I have a book that I started this week called Daring Greatly that is absolutely killer. And thank you, Jonathan Rippick, for the recommendation. But I made it a goal for myself that I want to finish it this week. I already plowed down 57 pages today because I just couldn't put it down. Brene Brown, she has a PhD and she writes like like she does. So I'm excited about that. I want to be able to finish that this week. Other things for the mindset this week, I want to write out my new budget and then really look for potential places that I might be moving this in the upcoming future. Because for the final thought, I know we talked the other day that we were recapping every 2 years, really talking about how much we should get paid and making sure that you're being paid how much you should. I actually accepted a job offer with a company called Human Interest, and I start August 23rd, making sure that I'm being paid the amount of value that I'm bringing to myself and to the company that I work for. So that's something I'm super excited about. I'm nervous about it, but at the same time, I'm pursuing my long-term dreams, and I think it's important to put yourself in an uncomfortable position if you want to be able to see where you're going to be at. There's no growth. There's no growth without struggle, and there's no struggle without putting yourself in a place of vulnerability that you've never been before. Something from Darren Greatley. If you want to catch me again, Tuesday, Student Athlete Journey to Success. We will be there at 8 p.m. live, as we are every week, talking about a new subject. It's our mastermind group, bringing other smart people who are goal-oriented together to really get a group of like-minded individuals who want to win. Hats are going to be $24.99, and the mugs are going to be $10. So shoot me a Venmo at Bellboy Brand Investment or Cash App at Bellboy Brand Investments. The first batch is going to be limited, so they're probably going to sell out first. I know I have quite a few people who have asked me for them already, and I've been asking when I'm going to have them. We got to get the orders in order to be able to get them out to people. So once you give me your address, we'll be able to really talk about the pricing because I know a lot of people are actually getting that discount for doing a little bit of work for me, so feel free to ask me about that. And then the Robinhood link is also going to be in the comments as well. So I look forward to coming back to you guys next week for another one. Year 2, episode 15, signing off. Bellboy Brand Investments. Thanks for tuning in, guys.